Welcome to Furniture Redesigned by MBM. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is my project for today. This nightstand. Now, it's a solid wood, or I won't say solid, it is wood. I want to say it's a particle board on top with a veneer on top of that. But there is damage. The corner here is damaged. Also, this corner is damaged. Now, I did get this from Goodwill, and I got it for about $10. Now, again, the top is pretty scratched up, and these are deep gouges, so I'm going to try to smooth them out. The drawers, again, are 100% wood, and this is a Dixie. Okay, see the Dixie stamped in the drawer. So this is a Dixie dresser, and the drawers are wood. Now, the one thing I don't like about the drawers is I don't like this decal here, so I want to remove that, and I'll keep everything as it is. Now, this piece got to be from the 60s, and I want to do this piece to match a bed that I did earlier this year. So here, this is the damage that I'll have to fix, and it goes all the way around. So the wood is kind of ate up. It looked like it was chewed by a dog, but I'm gonna fix this, and you can see it's a little rickety, so that means on the bottom the tabs are loose. I have to do that, but I'm gonna, other than the top, that is the only damage done to the piece. Oh, here, right here, no, just the finish is missing. So we're gonna sand this, remove the hardware, and get ready to clean this piece. So if you want to see the makeover on this nightstand, make sure you stay with me. Also, here's a look at the bed that I completed back in March. I wasn't quite happy with the upholstery job done on that, and so I'm going to freshen that up. So again, if you want to see how they both turn out, stay with me, and I'll see you in a bit, and I'll be ready to clean the nightstand. I have my drill, and we want to begin by taking the hardware off the drawers. Looks like I'm going to have to switch to a screwdriver with a flat head to take the screws out. Sometimes when you're working on these older pieces, even though the screw head is a Phillips, it's easier to just use a larger flat head to take the screws out. Because there's nothing wrong with the hardware, I will be setting it aside and reusing it on this piece. In this bottle, I have TSP and water, and I just want to spray it directly to my piece and clean. Okay, I decided I better cover up my floors before I continue cleaning the piece because I am using TSP. You want to make sure that you clean your piece inside and out. Cleaning it inside will make it smell fresh for your new buyer or the new owner. Also, cleaning it will help your paint adhere. and it gives you time to inspect the piece for any other damages that it may have. So the first thing I want to do, now that my piece is clean and the hardware is removed, I want to take this emblem off the top. I would take this whole piece, but I'm not sure of what the rest of this looks like. So let me just take this piece off first. I have my 5-in-1 tool and a hammer, and I just want to use this tool to try to get underneath. Okay, that came up pretty easily. It was nailed and not glued. So in looking at it, let's see if I can take up this other piece. Now, I want to make sure that I don't damage the design of the framework. So let's see how it's coming up. Look like it's coming up pretty easily. Okay, it was nailed down and glued as well, but not with a lot of glue. Some of the veneer did come off, so I'm just taking my hammer and pushing the nails back through the other side. I'll pull up all of the veneer that came off, and we'll fix that a bit later. But let's get these nails out of the dresser. Okay, it looks like everything is intact, and I pushed the nails to the back side. I'm just going to wipe it free, and I'm going to grab my pliers and pull the nails out the back side. Sorry guys, I thought my camera was on, but I took my wood glue and I just shoved it into the particle board to strengthen it. I put a clip on the top, and I also ready to pull these nails out with my pliers, but this is quite difficult, and this is the only plier that I have downstairs. So I'm going to wait for my husband with the larger plier and pull the staples out for me. So I'll see you in a bit. Now we're ready to do some repairs. I have my all-purpose Bondo here, and we're going to fill in where the veneer has come loose. And I'm also going to address the corner. I'm going to strengthen this corner with the Bondo as well. I add a small amount of the Bondo to this paper plate. I mixed it with my hardener. Once I get it thoroughly mixed and the color is of one consistency, I add it to the corner of the nightstand. I shape it and smooth it out as best as I can. That will give me less sanding. And then I move to do the same thing to the dresser drawer. The Bondo should dry and harden in about 30 minutes, and we'll come back and sand it smooth. The Bondo is dry, and now I'm going to take 120 grit sandpaper. I'm going to wrap it around my sanding block, and I'm using this one because it will fit the contour of the drawer without sanding away those edges. I then use the sanding block to scuff sand the rest of the nightstand. I make sure to sand smooth any area where the Bondo was applied. I've already wiped away all the dust, but I'm using a damp sponge to make sure that I don't leave any particles behind. And this will give me a chance to check the Bondo to make sure that everything is smooth. And here on the dresser, everything is smooth except for right here in the corner. I'm sorry I'm a little out of focus, but I'll take some wood filler and fill that in. On this piece, I did a dresser which went with the bed, and I did sell the dresser, did not sell the bed. I was just contacted by the client that bought the bed over almost a year ago, and she wanted to know if I need nightstands. And I told her that I had the one and that I was going to redo the bed. And here's a look at the dresser she wants the nightstand to match. And as you can see, it has a wooden top. And I did do Retique it to make the top wood on the other piece because it was a laminate top. So I'm going to go ahead, get this ready for the Retique it. Here I have my Retique wood. I have a small amount of it left, so we're just stirring it up and getting it ready to go on the piece. You want to make sure that everything is stirred well because it's been a long time since I used it. To get it ready, you have to make sure that your top is ready. Now I did sand down the imperfections, and now I have to take alcohol and clean the top of the piece. Yes, my piece is already clean, but the alcohol will take away any grease or grime that's left on the piece. As you can see, it's pretty clean, but I just want to make sure that everything is prepared, and it's recommended to use alcohol to clean the top of the piece. I'm going to let it dry, which only takes a few minutes, and I'm going to take an old paintbrush that I have to apply my Retique it to the top. Now this is my short handle angle brush. This is an older one, and I usually use it to add my primer, but I'm going to use it today to put my Retique it. Now I'm only going to do a one coat to start. I'm going to make sure my edges are done as well. So I just want to first get it on the piece, and then I'll use long smooth strokes to make sure that everything is even. Now I will leave a link to the videos for the bed before and also for the dresser. On the dresser, I used some wood graining tools, but I wasn't quite happy with the way they worked out. So this one, I'm just going to use my brush to create the texture that I want for my dresser. So keep watching. Before I add my primer, I went back. My Retique it has dried for about 2 hours, so I went ahead and added a second coat, and this is what it's looking like. And now I can go ahead and add my primer to my nightstand. On today, I'm using my Zinsser 123 primer. Again, I'm going to use another short handle angle brush, and I'm using this so that I can push that paint into the corners and also into the grooves of the design of the nightstand. So I have 2 coats of the Retique wood on the top of my table here, and it's looking really good. Now the brush did leave some green in there, so that's fine for me. So since I have that done and I have 1 coat of paint on the top, I'm gonna take this outside and I'm gonna stain it. I'm doing that because it's not warm, but it should be about 40 degrees outside. So I'm gonna put the stain on outside and come back. So let me just step outside. Today I'm using Retique and the American Walnut stain. I'm gonna start with a paper towel, and I just wanna massage it or rub it on top of the table. Once the stain is applied, I use long strokes to smooth out the stain. The paper has texture and will leave those graining marks that I'm looking for. Not forgetting the edges. I'm going to get my first coat on, let it dry, and add a second coat if I want my color a little richer. The sun is going down and it's a bit chilly outside, so I brought the nightstand back in. I lightly sanded it, and I want to darken it a little bit, and I also want to protect the top. So what I've done is pulled out my wipe-on poly. I poured a little bit in this plate, and I'm just going to add my stain to it, mix it up, and apply it the same way as I did only the stain with the paper towel. I'm going to let this dry, cover up the remaining of the mixture, and I'm going to go over it again just because I have enough to do that. So I'll see you when that's done. While my table dries, I've cleaned my hardware, and I'm going to use my gold gilding wax to wipe on to the hardware. Now this is a very easy process. I'm just using a paper towel to rub it in. Now we're ready for paint. I'm using Rust-Oleum milk paint, and this is in the classic white. I have my line tray here, and I just want to pour my paint into my tray. I have a 4-inch foam roller to roll the paint on the piece, and I'll also use a short handle angle brush to cut into the corners. I'm going to get this first coat of paint on the nightstand, and while it's drying, we're going to take a look at the bed. So here's the bed that I did in August, and I don't like the tufting. I added gold gilding wax to the top of it. It's really nice, but except the tufting. So I'm going to pull all of this apart and come back. I have some 1-inch foam. Now it is doubled in the package, shrink wrap, so I'm going to cut it down to size and come back. I cut my foam and I used Gorilla fabric glue and glued it to the back of the headboard. I'm going to reuse the batting. This is the fabric that I chose to use. It is a vinyl fabric and it's pretty heavy. Now I have these tacks. These were a gift from one of my subscribers and we'll be using these today. So what I've done on the underneath side on my foam, I've already cut slits where I need to put my tacks. Now what I need to do is just make sure that I gather my fabric, push it down in the hole, and take my hammer and nail it through. I'll do the same thing to the bottom of the piece. I started in the middle. So now I'm just taking that fabric, making sure that I fold the crease, pull it down, push it in the hole, take my tack, and hammer it in place. I'll continue along the bottom line before I go to the top. The tacks are in on the front side. Now it's time to staple. I'm pulling the leather as tight as I can and I'm using my electric stapler to staple everything down. Everywhere there's a tack, I make sure that I fold and pull down as tight as possible. And I do this again wherever there's a button. I just pull it tight, tack it down, and once I get it tacked down, then I go back and add staples between. When I get to the end or the cutout, I take my scissors and I cut the fabric back. I cut it back about a 1/2 inch, no less, to that edge. I go all the way up and I fold back around the foam. I pull tight to the back side and staple. I use my hammer to push the staples that did not go into the wood. I flip the headboard around so that I can tighten the front side. I make a slit close to the cutout or to the opening here. I do it slowly. You might have to make more than one cut. Once I get it the way I want to, tucked under the batting or the foam, then I make that fold, flip it to the back side, staple. Once I have that done, I'm ready to do the same thing to the top. I cut it again about a 1/2 inch from the end of my foam batting. If you see how I'm cutting, you see I'm only cutting to the end of the wood or the opening. Then I fold down under the foam. The rest of the fabric will pull to the side. Once I have my sides stapled to the back, I cut away all the excess material. It's been a couple of hours since I added that second coat of paint, and now I want to go ahead and add my final coat, which is coat number 3. I'm doing 3 coats because this is white and I want to make sure that I have full coverage. Now it's time to protect my finish. Of course, I used the milk paint, and chalk paint has a more chalky finish. Milk paint is a little different, but I'm going to use wax, and I'm using Retique wax. It is a paste. I have a lint-free t-shirt here, and I'm just rubbing it on heavy. I'll let it sit on the furniture for about an hour, and then I'll take a cloth and wipe the excess away. This should give me a smooth finish and protect my paint. I'm going to get the wax buffed into my piece, add the hardware, which you don't really need to see me do, and we'll come back for the reveal. I'll see you in a bit. I think my nightstand is simply gorgeous. It's simple, not fussy, and it turned out great. I use my Howard's wax on the inside of the drawers and also on the slides to make sure that everything's open smoothly. And this is the final finish on that top with the Retique wood. Absolutely stunning. And here's a look at the bed. Now remember, I had refinished this bed in August of last year, but had not sold it. So I reupholstered the headboard, and I really like this vinyl fabric. Now this was left over from another project, so I didn't have to go out and buy anything. And this is the footboard. So I used the same milk paint to paint the dresser. Now I have a bed, full size, and a nightstand. Let me know, what do you think? I'll make sure to leave the link for the dresser and also the bed tutorial in the description box below. If you're out there watching and you're not a part of the Creative Decor family, now it's time to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget the notification bell so you'll know when I upload new videos. It's time to say thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day. God bless. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye now.